you can bank on. The WBBM Noon Business Hour continues.
Well, the future is today, or maybe it'll be by Christmas. This is Tech Thursday on the Noon Business Hour. We're talking about virtual reality headsets and the programming that can be played on them. Our guest is Tim Hanlon, founder and CEO of the media consultancy firm Vertere Group here in Chicago. Tim, thanks for joining us here on the Noon Business Hour today.
Hi, Chris. Nice to talk to you again.
Tell us what kind of technology we're going to be able to experience.
Well, so virtual reality is something is not necessarily a really new idea, but it's one that's sort of starting to coalesce and becoming a little bit more mainstream. And the idea and the concept is really no more complicated than, if you remember the old GAF Viewmasters that maybe as kids we played with, where you kind of look through sort of this viewer and you had this sort of round card that sort of rotated these sort of static 3D images, and you could be transported to places like the Eiffel Tower or all kinds of different environments. That's basically what virtual reality is, but now, of course, on steroids, courtesy of technology and mobile devices and the like. And the idea, I think, is really compelling as if and when programming that is compelling is brought to bear. And I think that's what you're starting to see now. The technology has always been kind of there. I think you see programmers, content creators, studios, artists starting to actually think, hey, there might be some reason to spend some time creating for it now. And
it is being called immersive entertainment, where you, the viewer, become involved in whatever the scene is.
Yes, and unlike sort of that Viewmaster example from years gone by, these images, they're not static 3D images as much as they are more immersive or interactive, even moving imagery, even incorporating video. You're talking about literally being able to relatively easily with goggles and your eyes to be quickly and accurately brought into literally virtual worlds that feel very real and potentially have some great storylines behind them if content owners and creators can get their arms around this new toy, if you will.
Are we all going to be individually playing with our immersive technology, or is there a way that you can share it with friends?
I think that's a great question, and I think it's still very early in the life cycle. The technology, like I said before, is there. I think what creative looks like, what narratives look like, what storytelling looks like is completely new territory. And you could immedially think that this becomes the ultimate antisocial concept, right? So instead of going to see a movie in a communal experience, there's no need to anymore. By going to your own sort of virtual world and maybe regressing or so. Or I think, frankly, it may actually be a bit more connected, right? If you look at what gaming has transformed into, say, with Xbox and Sony PlayStation, the ability with an Internet connection to literally play with others completely around the world through an Internet connection. So I think it's probably a little bit of the former, but probably more of the latter, that is sort of a collective individual experience, if you could call it that.
Well, Hollywood's going to have to wrap its head, or a huge investment here. I mean, this strikes me as a quantum leap akin from black and white to color, and this is like 3D to virtual reality and then some. Tim, thanks for being with us today. Tim Hanlon, founder, CEO of the media consultancy firm Vertere here in Chicago.